Okay. Namaste, namaste, beautiful family of light. Baba Sharon here at the Cosmic Center Spiritual Light in Sarasota, Florida, in the United States of America. So I just wanted to say to our beautiful light workers, always, I want to just take a moment and acknowledge the light and the path that we are on. And that kind of brings me into I feel I'm going to push the envelope a little bit. I'm going to push the envelope a little bit um, in terms of as we move forward. I think many of us are on, most certainly on the pulse of where we are in this society, in this world, global events, and dynamics spoken of from AI to bringing in a new world order to all kinds of different things. But the one thing I want to say is this, in this point in time, is that all things that have been hidden are now coming to light. All things that have been hidden are coming to light. And this is real important for us to be aware of this. So I said today that one of the messages that I want to get out to everybody is now as we are an awakening consciousness for many of us. You know who you are, okay? We're not the sheeple, we're not the masses, okay? We understand the concept of a matrix, and what the Sanskrit called it was Maya. And they said Maya is the illusion. And I'm like, well, how is Maya an illusion? Because if you put your finger and a flame on the stove, there's nothing illusionary about that. You're going to feel pain. So I didn't get that concept until some time afterwards. And so what I want to say is that there is another higher reality of things, okay? As you pierce through the illusion, as you pierce through Maya, as you begin to say, wow, is this an external simulation? And how many simulations are there? And how many creators with a small c are there? And hey, if I'm a co-creator, who are the other creators? Okay, so you have to start going down this rabbit hole. And it is a rabbit hole. It is. But then as you seek, and as it says in many of the scripture, knock and the door will open. And we are here to seek what? The truth of what things are. Now, everybody's truth can vary a little bit, but let's just say that we are trying to figure out what's this all about? What is this all about? Why are we here? What is our purpose? The age-old questions. Now, I want to say to everybody, that I can't speak about in the past, but I can speak about now. Your questions can be answered. I really do believe that. I really do believe that this is a point in time now through the path of ourselves in past lives, through our ancestors that have held the light, that have continued to keep the vibration high, to push the needle forward in bringing peace and balance. Yeah, those are real human desires and dreams. Like, hey, can't we all just have some peace? Can we all get along? But for some reason, there's been this insertion of separation. And for those of us that are really awake, have noticed that this is a program that's been going on for a very, very long time on this planet, right? So what's up with that? Okay, and that's where now, because we're in the age of Aquarius, meaning communication accessibility to information we never had accessibility before. You can go online to the Library of Congress and get information. You could go anywhere around the world that has a library and access information. This is unprecedented. Now, maybe in Atlantis they did this. So I'm just talking about current events. Okay, so we now have accessibility to things that we didn't have before. And this is our time to start knocking the door and start seeking and say, I want answers. And so it'll bring you to like, what is it that I don't know? What books are there that I don't know? Hey, What about those banned books from the 1940s? What are those books? Okay, what about the banned books, from the Renaissance period? What are those books? Where can I have these ancient writings? What can decipher the hieroglyphics in Egypt? What are they saying? What are Sumerians saying? Okay, what are other cultures and ancient cultures saying? I'd like to hear what they have to say. So just like how you, okay, may be listening to a conversation and there's two perspectives of the conversation. All right, you would say, well, listen, I want to hear your side and I want to hear your side. I want to hear both sides. And then I will discern. Okay, as to, what I'm going to take in and what I'm not. The other part to this, just for us to start thinking, is that all information, at least in this realm that we find ourselves, as Jesus the Christ said, is the mixture, meaning you have the light and the dark. Okay, we are in a world of duality. Okay, so no matter what you are exposed to, you can say may not anything 100% in this experience we find ourselves in, at least as it comes in terms of information in the realm that we find ourselves that is open to distortion, 100% distortion. But you may listen to something and say, 70% of that I align with and I feel is correct. The other 30%, not so much. Good. Because you're going to have to start to question everything. You're going to have to discern everything. We can never just take things on face value or, just faith. Because gnosis, okay, which the Gnostic gospel speaks of, means not blind faith, but it means having knowledge. Okay, and that's why I would recommend for everybody that you start to seek. And how do you do that? Well, why won't you question everything? Okay, let's start off with that. Let's question everything. So as you start to question everything, and you have your YouTube and you have your other things out there, I find it very amazing that if you have a question, at least this is what's been happening to me, you say, gee, I wonder, blah, 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 whatever your question is. And then for whatever reason, the algorithm on YouTube or other social media platforms just happen to have that information you're seeking. Now, is that spirit? I'm not sure. I don't know. But I've come to find out that if I put out a question, an answer is going to come to me in some way. Either it's going through a book or through a person, or my favorite is what I'm calling YouTube University. Okay, so now in my quest, and there is a new pope, and that is he called himself Pope Leo. Okay, and I like that name, but also too, there's a lot of information about that name. And the last pope, it seems for that reason for the Leo popes, they've had some significant roles. But I want to talk about Pope Leo the 13th. Okay, so here comes into the consciousness of humanity, okay, this name Leo. And so in that, there was some research that I came upon about the Pope 13th. And, I like this Pope. I'll see, how things work out because, hey, he's in a system that has been entrenched for a very long time. And Jesus said, there's the mixture. And in my seeking, all of us as seekers, we're a new level of seeking now. I would say that all of us at a new level of seeking. I came across this guy named Malachi Martin. His name came up 3 times. I've never heard of Malachi Martin, ever. Okay, but he was an exorcist in the Catholic Church. And he said something which somebody brought to my attention, and his name pops up. That means pay attention. In 1963, he said things had changed. And it was very synchronistic when looking for Leo the 13th, the Pope of Leo the 13th. He had a whole experience, and this is documented in many not just one thing and many things, where the prayer of Saint Michael that they use after church, he wrote this this Pope Leo the 13th. And the reason why he wrote it is because he was there, I guess, with doing a mass with the other cardinals, whatever was going on. And either he fainted, he passed out, something happened. And when he came to, he said he had a vision. And the vision was, okay, where the counterforce, the evil forces, Satan, whatever name you want to call it, okay, the Antichrist, there's a whole bunch of names, was saying, hearing like a conversation, I'm going to infiltrate the church. I'm going to do it, and I can. Give me 100 years and I'll do it. So it's like he saw this, but then Archangel Michael came. Archangel Michael came. But it didn't take away from the fact that that happened. And so what he did, I guess he did some other stuff. He wrote us some exorcisms or whatever for the cardinals or the priests, whatever. But what he wrote was this prayer of Archangel Michael, which I have a copy of, which I want to start saying that prayer, because this man saw this. And so what I want to say, kind of pushing the envelope, when you start to listen to this stuff now, we say, yeah, we're in a spiritual war. No, yeah. Because then when you start going beyond this planet, when you start going beyond the matrix and Maya, I'm seeing a vibratory cage. I think I used that in the past. And so how do we get out of this? We are trapped light. We are light in this material body, in this material world, and the Gnostics have a lot to say about it. They got a bunch of stuff to say about it. They speak of the demiurge, they speak of the pleroma. And again, this is knock, seek for yourself, search for yourself. Okay, but this guy, Malachi Martin, seemed to be a very holy man, and the kind of work he did, okay, said that he had some real concerns, and in fact wrote a book, but the book comes as something fiction. I think it's Wind. I don't remember the name of the book, but his name is Malachi Martin. You would be able to find that. Or you could just ask Gemini to give you a synopsis of it. Those are the plus signs of AI, I guess, to be able to get something quickly and they can put it for you. So I'm saying all of this to say, okay, that we are now in the age of miracles. And I really feel this ascension is not just of the planet, but my gosh, what we hear in the anchoring light all the time is that the children of light upon the earth, who have not forgotten, are the greatest alchemists. That we truly can transcend, tap into the power that we hold as holding the light of the image of the divine, the similitude of the divine, powerful co-creators, just with our consciousness, piercing through the illusions, piercing through the delusions. And what about uplifting? When you become aware, you're like, wow, I can't vibe low because I'm contributing to the vibratory cage. That's how I look at it. I said, no matter what's going on, not closing my eyes to the world, but I can't get sucked in to that lower vibration, which is the goal. Hey, let's keep this cage nice and strong. So what about a bunch of us that are escaping from the cage? Isn't that amazing? There are more and more of us escaping from the cage. And guess what? They can't get us back. They cannot get us back. Knock, 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 and the door will be open. Start to trust your intuition. Do your discernment. Trust you. Trust yourself, because you are a magnificent spiritual being of light, that you even realize the power that you hold and your ability to transform, transcend, and a whole transfiguration, okay, of life, just you. So that's all I want to say. I think I've pushed the envelope enough. I'm not going to push it anymore. But yeah, seek, 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 and you will be the doors will open and it'll take you into, as you walk your path of light, as you come from the higher heart of compassion and unconditional love, as you say, I want to make a difference, a positive difference in this world. I sense I came here to do that. Chop, chop, light workers. Chop, chop. Let's get to it. Namaste, beautiful ones on Facebook Live. We love you so much. Namaste.